So, okay, flooding in Texas, and everybody's screaming climate change, climate change. You know, I believe in climate change. Sure, climate's been changing for thousands of years, if not 100 years. Okay, I understand the science behind it. I like sciences, all the sciences. All right, but here's what here's what I need to get this out there. All right, let's go back in time to like the late 1980s, early 90s. There was a problem with the ozone. You don't hear too much about that anymore, do you? Yeah, no. So back in the day, they told us, there's a problem with the ozone, and the problem is it's our styrofoam cups and our pit spray and stuff like that, and it's all you little people. You need to change your ways. Well, when that happened, like I said, I'm into sciences. And I read a lot on it. Have you ever wondered why there is a universal, unilateral, across the world, no nuclear bomb tested above ground? Do you think it was because of, the radiation that it's going to be floating around? It has nothing to do with that. You see, in a short period of time, 3 or 4 years, United States and Soviet Union at that time, Russia, detonated over 2,000 nuclear weapons on this planet, which technically it was a nuclear war. Okay, 10% of them were atmospheric tests. Now the Russians, most of their nuclear bombs were tested in the Arctic Circle. North Pole, glaciers, stuff like that. We tested a lot of ours in the South Pacific. We had to because these bombs, if we would have tested one in Nevada, one of those bombs, we would have lost the West Coast. That's how big these bombs were. Now, when a bomb goes off, you have a shock wave. It goes out, but it also goes up. And nuclear weapons, the shock wave, are so powerful of these weapons that we detonated. Scientists realize, wait a minute here, we have a problem. Every time we test these things, about 10% on average, our atmosphere, our ozone just poofs into outer space. We don't know where it's going. We don't know if it's going to come back or anything like that. We need to put a ban on this stuff here. We're going to destroy this planet. But they never told you that was the reason why. They always said it was because, well, we don't want, radiation flickering over, stuff like that. All right? But that was the reason why we lost the ozone. And you don't hear too much about that. Now, all of a sudden, comes by 1990s, we have this global warming problem. Okay? Again, they changed it. So now, all of a sudden, people had to buy, new cars, new refrigerators, and AC units, stuff like that. And it's like, man, this is pretty good here. This is helping the economy along. And then all of a sudden, Y2K. Now, I worked in the computer industry. I worked on the 1190s for Sperry. And I'm telling you, it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean that the world was going to stop or anything like that. I knew someone who bought a new furnace just to have it on standby in case his old furnace went out because of Y2K. And I'm just like, come on, people. There's not even any electronics in that thing. What are you thinking? Why? So everything had to be, all these stuff had to be Y2K compliant, and toasters were Y2K compliant. It's like, seriously? But it was big business. We scaring people, buy. And then in the 2000s, the aughts, what happened? For some reason, it went, within a week, it went from global warming to climate change. You see, because the data that they were getting wasn't warming fast enough for them. It's like, oh man, we kind of screwed up here, So they changed it to climate change because then they could extrapolate it out to 100 years. Well, you all are going to be dead by the time 100 years comes by, so they can say whatever they want that's going to happen in the future, like the year 2100, because nobody alive now is going to be there to say, hey, you thought this was going to happen and never happened. You see what I mean? So it's big business for them because now they changed it to climate change. They can pretty much say whatever they want. But it goes back to that ozone. It goes back to those nuclear weapons that they detonated. I mean, come on. Half the weapons the Soviets detonated at Arctic Circle, icebergs, glaciers, cold, and you have this thermonuclear bomb. You don't think it melted a bunch of crap? And you think of what we did in the South Pacific, you know, that there is I'm going to have another talk about the major flaw that is in science. And so I just wanted to get this out, this climate change stuff. Yeah, climate does change over a period of 100 years, whether we're here or not. This is just something to scare you to buy, and buy, to keep that industrial military complex going. That's what it's all about.